San and Plebs coming out here with a kind of a strange news story from Japan here. How do you put this simply? Basically, this chain of stores here, Hobby Station and Card Kingdom, apparently one of its branches. Now, Hobby Station and Card Kingdom apparently is a fairly big franchise in Japan, of like a chain of like card shops, and apparently there's like 30 of them in Japan. So it's quite a widespread sort of, fairly big size company, because, Japanese tournaments are more locally based rather than like YCSs. They don't really have like large scale events like we do. So the local scene is way more sort of impactful over there. And one of its branches has banned the use of zodiacs, like banned zodiacs. Now I'm sure a lot of us have probably heard of locals around our places in the TCG, like lol, no meta tournament, etc, etc. But the fact that this is apparently quite a respected sort of franchise in Japan, and they've managed to ban an archetype from being played, is really serious, because it's just unbelievable. I'll leave this blog post in the description down below. You can even read the tweets here, which I'll leave down below as well. These are all, I surprisingly don't know Japanese, but these are the live tweets here from Twitter. I went to Google Translate. Kaddoko Kingo Odama o ga omiya tenyori oshiro desu ashita no takai wa 14G Yu-Gi-Oh! Did I say that right? Probably not. Blah blah blah, bad translation. 12 beasts in the card names cannot be used. So it is legit. Like, they've been sending out tweets about all these tournaments and stuff, saying, you can't use 12 beasts, which is Zodiac. Yu-Gi-Oh! Maximum Crisis box game, 12 cards and 12 cards and cards are prohibited. It's weird but bad translation on Google. 12 obviously referring to the Zodiac beasts banned in this tournament. So it's pretty big deal, honestly. The fact that they've come to this level where they thought, well, it's really bad over there. Like, I mean, can we think of anything in the TCG that's been this bad? Really nothing in recent years kind of comes to my mind where it's like, well, it is that difficult, and like this deck is that strong, or it just needs to be done like this, because it's I just have no words, because it's like Momorat itself has just caused so much problems over there. Like, for those of you who follow, for example, Lithium's channel, you would have seen like his metagame breakdown of OCG. It is just zoo and nothing else. Every deck is just fucking zoo with a variant of zoo. Like Zoo Eidolon, Pure Zoo, Kaiju Zoo, Zoo fucking Shadol and stuff like that. Like Zoo out the ass. Like there's just, yeah. So it's pretty bad over there. Zodiac cards aren't allowed in any casual tournaments organized by these shops. This rule will be implemented in the upcoming week. Hobby Station even mentioned that players will be ejected from the shop if Zodiacs are used. Thank you for your understanding was included in their message to the public. They're gonna kick you out the shop for playing Zodiac. You can't even, like, if you play Zodiac, you get kicked out. That is bonkers. That is mad. Like, it's almost like too far. Now I don't know if you probably don't get kicked out if you're just playing the deck for fun, like with your friends, like outside of the tournament. I would assume it's not that bad. I would assume it's not like if some tournament organizer or a head judge walks past you at the locals and sees you're playing Zodiac with your like friend like in a corner, not part of the tournament, they're gonna kick you out. I really doubt that's what it means. But the fact that if you like enter with a Zodiac deck, then you just get kicked out the store, that's really serious. It's absolutely insane. So this blog, by the way, for those of you, it's actually oops, no, I don't want to learn more about cookies. Wow, this is awkward. This is Dueling C, Yu-Gi-Oh! Blog by Singapore OCG players, and that's their names here, so shout outs to them for reporting on this. But yeah, they actually had a little browse around through here, and it's a pretty good kind of resource. But yeah, it's what are my thoughts on this? Well, it's fucking stupid. Like, you shouldn't ban a deck. Like, that's ridiculous. But then again, you know, if it's that bad, then how do you protest against Konami? Like, I guess you could probably just ban their decks from your shops. I mean, we kind of had something similar to an extent with our adjusted list, where it was like, well, you know, the adjusted list is an official ban list, because when the adjusted list came out, it was like technically not official, because tournament stores could opt to use the adjusted list or not. Obviously, most semi-competent, non-bad stores used the adjusted list regardless. There was still technically that legal option where you could have tournaments with the previous ban list before Full Power Pepe got demolished on the adjusted list. So that's about as close as of a thing as I can think of to what we had in the TCG. But yeah, there is one player who replied to the tweet questioning the shop's decision. Why not just ban Drancia or Momorat instead? This is actually a really good question. They could have just said, you can play Zoo, but don't play Momorat. Because if you actually play the deck, and if you actually look at some replays and stuff, I mean, I'm not nowhere by any means an expert, but if you actually just take out Momorat, the deck is pretty fair. It's actually almost underwhelming. It's pretty underwhelming without Momorat. If you even just 2 Momorat, like if you semi-limit Momorat, you need 3 for like the combos that end with like Drancia rank 4 and a search. So semi-limiting Momorat is an option. They could have just did that. One of the players asked a legit question on the tweets there. So yeah, I'll leave these in the description. If anyone watches my channel from Japan or speaks Japanese, I'd be really, that'd be amazing. But that'd be like, I doubt anyone from Japan watches my channel. I'd like to really know if like you could come forward and just post something in the comments saying like what the general atmosphere and like environment is over there for players. Like, is it that big of a deal? Like, do players over there really hate Zodiac this much to the point where it's like, well, we're just going to ban them from our shops? Because, you know, in general, most stores, I don't know the legalities and stuff, and I don't know what it and I don't really know the sort of ins and outs of what's allowed and what isn't allowed by a tournament store by Konami policy. I don't know how much leeway they have in what they can and can't do to their tournaments. Like, for example, you know, can they just randomly let you play Pot of Greed in a sanctioned event or a regional even? Because I don't know how big these tournaments were. Were they regional level events, or were they just kind of like friendlies, locals kind of thing? Don't really have too much information because, you know, unfortunately I'm a filthy gaijin and I don't speak Japanese, so I can't really look into depth here, and I can't really ask about it either, unfortunately. Cool profile pic. Wow. So awkward, so cringe. Anyway, yeah, so if you are from the OCG land and have any contribution to make in the comment section, I'd really appreciate that, because wow, it'd be good to know what's going on. But in terms of what the stores can do, like, I'm just really curious to know if Hobby Station and Card Kingdom, if their stores are allowed to do this in the first place. Like, does Konami JP let stores dictate their own lists? Does Konami JP let them decide their own ban list? Does Konami JP let them do these things? Like, it'd be really curious to know, because if anyone else in the comment section might provide some insight on that. I actually don't know what the sort of terms and service is for this kind of stuff. I mean, is there sort of like a, you know, a contract signed sort of between Konami and a tournament store saying, you know, you have to follow our ban list, you have to follow our price sports structure, you can't use these cards because of, you know, this ban list, or you can adjust it for this ban? Because I know our tournament store here in the UK, for example, has occasionally will do like a, what's it called? Fuck, what's that thing called again? The one where you can play one of every ban card. The name of that traditional format tournament. We'll have tag tournaments as well. So, you know, I guess those are kind of recognized by Konami, but I mean, if a store in the TCG was to, for example, just one day say, you can't play ABC, just Busted Dragons, 0 for this event, sorry boys, what would happen in, you know, the upper ranks of Konami? Would they like punish that store in some way? Would they sanction them in somehow? Would they remove their license? Would they get that bad? I'd be really curious to know. But basically, the main point I just wanted to highlight is this deck is that strong that stores are banning it Think about that. That's absolutely mad that they're kicking people out of their shop for playing this deck. Kicking people out the shop for playing Momorat deck. Wow. Let me know what you think down below, and see you next time.